There comes a moment in every life when the noise of the world grows louder than the quiet truth inside the heart. Voices begin to rise from every direction, telling you what you cannot do, where you cannot go, and why your dreams are too big for someone like you. People speak with certainty about your limits, as if they were the authors of your story. They measure your future by your past, and they try to place boundaries around a destiny they cannot see. Yet deep within every person there is a voice far stronger than the doubts of the crowd, a voice that whispers courage, purpose, and direction. Too many people spend their lives listening to the wrong voices. They allow criticism to shape their choices and fear to guide their steps. They begin to walk the road that others expect, instead of the road they were created to walk. But the truth is that greatness has never been built by people who followed the noise of negativity. Every meaningful journey begins when a person learns to silence the distractions around them and pay attention to the calling placed within their heart. The world may question your vision. It may laugh at your determination. Some will try to discourage you because your courage reminds them of the dreams they abandoned. But the presence of doubt around you does not mean you are on the wrong path. In many cases, it is proof that you are moving towards something significant. When a person chooses to trust their path, even when others cannot understand it, they begin to discover a strength they never knew existed. Ignoring negative voices does not mean pretending criticism does not exist. It means refusing to let it control the direction of your life. It means understanding that your purpose is not determined by the opinions of others, but by the conviction that lives within you. When you learn to stand firm in that conviction, the noise around you slowly loses its power. The same voices that once tried to discourage you will no longer define your journey. Every step forward becomes an act of faith in your own calling. Every challenge becomes an opportunity to prove that doubt cannot stop a determined heart. And as you continue walking your path with courage, something remarkable begins to happen. The very road that others said was impossible starts to unfold before you, not because the world suddenly believed in you, but because you chose to believe in the path placed before you. Learning to separate your voice from the noise around you, there comes a moment in life when you realize that the loudest voices around you are not always the wisest ones. The world is full of opinions. Everyone has something to say about what you should do, how you should live, where you should live, where you should go, and how far they think you can reach. Some people speak from fear, some speak from jealousy, and others speak simply because they are uncomfortable seeing someone chase a dream bigger than their own. If you listen to every voice around you, you will eventually lose the ability to hear the most important voice of all, the one that lives inside you. That inner voice is quiet but powerful. It does not shout. It does not beg for attention. It simply waits for you to slow down long enough to listen. But the world makes that difficult. Social media, criticism, doubt, comparisons, and expectations all create a storm of noise that surrounds you every single day. If you are not careful, that noise will begin to shape your thoughts. It will make you question your abilities, your purpose, and your direction. Learning to separate your voice from that noise is one of the most important skills you can develop in life. It requires courage because it means you will sometimes walk alone. When you start trusting your own judgment, not everyone will understand you. Some people will question you. Some will laugh at your vision. Others will try to convince you that you are making a mistake. But the truth is that no one else can see the picture that exists inside your mind. Every successful person eventually reaches a point where they must make a decision. They must decide whether they will follow the noise of the crowd or the calling within their heart. The crowd is always loud. The crowd loves comfort, safety, and familiarity. The crowd discourages risk because risk reminds them of the chances they were too afraid to take. But the inner voice is different. That voice pushes you forward. It tells you to try when others say stop. It tells you to believe when others say doubt. When you begin separating your voice from the noise, something powerful happens inside you. Your confidence begins to grow. You stop needing constant approval from other people. You no longer measure your worth by their opinions. Instead, you begin to measure your progress by your discipline, your effort, and your willingness to keep going, even when the road becomes difficult. Think about how many dreams have died because someone listened to the wrong voice. A teacher who said it was impossible. A friend who said it would never work. A relative who said it was unrealistic. Words have power, and if you allow those words to settle in your mind, they will slowly build walls around your potential. But when you learn to filter those voices, you protect the vision that was placed inside you. Separating your voice from the noise does not mean ignoring wisdom or refusing advice. It means learning the difference between guidance and limitation. Wise advice helps you grow, but negativity tries to shrink your possibilities. One builds you, the other confines you. The key is learning to recognize which voice is which. There will be days when the noise becomes overwhelming. Doubt may creep in. Fear may try to convince you that the critics were right all along. Those moments will test your strength. But that is when you must return to the quiet place inside yourself. The place where your purpose lives. The place where your determination was born. When you reconnect with that voice, you remind yourself why you started. The truth is that greatness is never created in a crowd of doubters. It is built by individuals who have the courage to believe in something before anyone else sees it. They learn to listen carefully, not to the loudest voices in the room, but to the quiet conviction within their spirit. As you move forward in life, the noise will always exist. People will always talk. Opinions will always surround you. But the difference between those who achieve their dreams and those who abandon them is simple. One group lets the noise control their direction. The other learns to rise above it and follow the voice that tells them they were made for something greater. And the moment you truly begin to trust that voice is the moment your life starts moving toward a future that no amount of noise can ever silence. Building self-belief. When others doubt your vision, there will be moments in life when you stand alone with an idea in your heart and a vision in your mind that nobody else seems to understand. You see something bigger for your life, something meaningful, something powerful. But when you share it with others, they look at you with doubt in their eyes. Some will question your ability. Some will question your direction. Others will quietly hope you give up because your courage reminds them of the dreams they once abandoned. This is the moment where your belief in yourself begins to matter more than the opinions around you. Self-belief is not something that appears overnight. It is built slowly through discipline, faith, and the decision to keep moving forward even when the world is not cheering for you. Anyone can feel confident when everyone agrees with them, when the path is clear and the support is loud. But real belief shows up when the room is silent, when encouragement is rare, and when the only voice telling you to keep going is the one inside your own mind. When others doubt your vision, it can shake your confidence if you allow it. Words have power. A single negative comment can echo in your thoughts for days if you give it space. But you must understand something important. Most people judge your future based on their own limitations. They measure your potential through the lens of their fears, their failures, and their comfort zones. When someone tells you that something cannot be done, what they often mean is that they themselves would never attempt it. That is why building self-belief requires a shift in perspective. Instead of seeking approval from everyone around you, you begin to focus on strengthening the belief inside you. You start proving to yourself, step by step, that you are capable of more than people expect. Each small action becomes evidence that your vision is not foolish. It is simply ahead of its time. There will be days when doubt creeps in quietly. You may begin to question whether the critics were right. You may wonder if the path you chose is too difficult or too uncertain. In those moments, remember that every dream worth pursuing has always been questioned. And the beginning. Every person who accomplished something meaningful faced disbelief before they faced recognition. The difference is that they refused to let doubt become stronger than determination. Building self-belief means learning to trust your preparation, your effort, and your purpose. It means understanding that your journey does not require the approval of everyone around you. Sometimes the people who doubt you today will be the same ones who celebrate you tomorrow. But the celebration only comes after you prove that their doubts were never powerful enough to stop your progress. Think about how many people give up too early, simply because someone else failed to see their vision. They let the skepticism of others slowly erode their confidence until the dream fades away. But those who rise above doubt carry something different within them. They understand that belief is a choice. Every morning, you choose whether you will trust your potential or surrender to someone else's opinion. Self-belief grows stronger when you take action. Every effort you make, every obstacle you overcome, every challenge you face becomes a reminder that you are capable of moving forward despite the doubts around you. Progress builds confidence, discipline builds strength, and persistence builds the kind of belief that no criticism can shake. You will never control what others think about your vision. People will always have opinions. Some will support you, some will question you, and some will wait quietly to see if you fail. But your responsibility is not to convince everyone. Your responsibility is to keep building the life you know is possible. The road may feel lonely at times, but remember that every path toward greatness begins with one person who believes before anyone else does. That belief becomes the foundation for everything that follows. It fuels your determination, sharpens your focus, and reminds you that your vision exists for a reason. As you continue moving forward, the doubts around you will slowly lose their power. Not because people suddenly change their minds, but because your belief became stronger than their skepticism. And once you reach that point, you will understand that the greatest victory was never about proving others wrong. It was about proving to yourself that the vision placed in your heart was always worth believing in, and worth fighting for every single day you continue walking toward it, without hesitation, without fear, and without ever allowing doubt to steal the purpose that was meant for your life. Staying focused on your goals, despite criticism. There comes a time in every person's journey when the path toward their goals becomes crowded with voices that question their direction. The moment you decide to pursue something meaningful, something that requires discipline and sacrifice, criticism begins to appear. Some people will openly challenge your decisions. Others will quietly suggest that your dreams are unrealistic. They will tell you to slow down, to be practical, to accept something smaller and safer. But the truth is that every great goal attracts criticism because determination makes people uncomfortable. Staying focused in the presence of criticism is not easy. Words can weigh heavily on the mind if you allow them to settle there. A careless comment from someone else can echo in your thoughts longer than it should. It can plant seeds of doubt and make you question whether the effort is worth it. But if you look closely at the people who achieved extraordinary things, you will discover something powerful about their mindset. They understood that criticism is often the price of ambition. When you choose a goal that demands growth, you automatically separate yourself from the comfort of the crowd. Many people prefer stability over risk. They prefer familiarity over possibility. So when they see someone stepping beyond those boundaries, they respond with skepticism. It is not always because they wish to harm you. Sometimes it is simply because they cannot imagine themselves doing the same thing. The key to staying focused is learning to keep your attention on the mission rather than the noise surrounding it. Your energy is limited, and every moment you spend worrying about criticism is a moment taken away from progress. Goals require consistent effort, discipline, and patience. If your mind is constantly distracted by the opinions of others, your momentum begins to slow. Focus comes from clarity. When you truly understand why your goal matters to you, the outside voices lose much of their power. A person who knows their purpose does not stop walking because someone else doubts the road. They continue forward because the destination means too much to abandon. Purpose creates endurance, and endurance creates progress. Criticism will sometimes appear when you are making real progress. People notice determination. They notice discipline. They notice when someone refuses to settle for average. And not everyone will celebrate that kind of commitment. Some will challenge it because it reflects the effort they were unwilling to give themselves. But you cannot allow their discomfort to become your distraction. Staying focused requires mental strength. It means training your mind to return to the task every time it is pulled away by negativity. It means reminding yourself that every goal worth reaching demands persistence through uncomfortable moments. Success does not come from avoiding criticism. It comes from continuing your work despite it. There will be days when the pressure feels heavy, when the voices become louder and your confidence feels tested. In those moments, remember that criticism has never built anything. It has never created progress, innovation, or achievement. Action is what builds results. Discipline is what creates growth. Focus is what turns a distant dream into a real accomplishment. When you stay committed to your path, something interesting begins to happen over time. The same people who once questioned your goals begin to notice your consistency. They see the effort, the resilience, and the quiet determination that refuse to disappear. Slowly, the criticism fades, not because the world suddenly became supportive, but because your results begin speaking louder than the doubts ever could. The journey toward any meaningful goal will always include moments of resistance. That resistance may come from circumstances, from fear, or from the opinions of others. But none of those forces are stronger than a person who has decided to remain focused. Every day you continue working toward your vision is proof that criticism does not control your direction. So you keep your eyes forward. You keep your discipline strong. You keep showing up when others expect you to stop. And as the days turn into months and the months turn into years, you begin to realize something powerful. The criticism that once seemed so loud has faded into the background, while the progress you built through focus continues to grow stronger and stronger until the life you once imagined becomes the life you are actually living through patience, resilience, and the unwavering decision to stay focused on your goals, no matter how many. Voices tried to convince you to turn around, turning doubt and negativity into motivation. Every person who decides to rise above ordinary living will eventually face doubt and negativity. It shows up in many forms. Sometimes it comes from people who question your abilities. Sometimes it comes from criticism that tries to weaken your confidence. And sometimes the doubt comes from within your own mind, whispering that the road ahead might be too difficult. But the truth is that doubt and negativity are not the end of your journey. In many cases, they are the beginning of your strength. Life has a way of testing the seriousness of your dreams. When you set your mind on something meaningful, the world does not always respond with applause. Instead, it often responds with resistance. People will say things that try to shrink your vision. They will remind you of past failures. They will suggest that your goals are unrealistic or too ambitious. But the moment you learn how to transform that negativity into motivation, you unlock a power that most people never discover. The key is understanding that doubt can either weaken you or fuel you. The difference lies in how you choose to respond. If you allow negative words to settle in your heart, they slowly drain your confidence. They make you hesitate. They make you question the direction you once believed in. But if you choose to see doubt as a challenge, rather than a barrier, it becomes a spark that pushes you forward. Think about the power that exists in proving something to yourself, not to the critics, not to the doubters, but to the person you see in the mirror every day. When someone says you cannot do something, you have a choice. You can accept that statement as truth, or you can let it ignite a fire inside you. That fire becomes determination. It becomes the quiet voice that says keep going, keep working, keep growing, until the results speak louder than the criticism ever did. Negativity often reveals more about the person speaking than the person being criticized. Many people project their fears onto others. They speak from their own limitations, their own disappointments, and their own regrets. When they see someone with age and ambition, it reminds them of the chances they never took. But their doubts do not define your potential. Turning negativity into motivation requires discipline of the mind. It means refusing to carry the weight of every negative opinion you hear. Instead of allowing those opinions to slow you down, you use them as reminders of why you must continue moving forward. Each critical word becomes another reason to work harder, to grow stronger, and to stay committed to your vision. There is a certain strength that grows inside a person who learns this lesson. When negativity appears, it no longer feels like an attack. It becomes fuel. It becomes a challenge that sharpens your focus. It reminds you that the path you chose is not meant to be easy. If it were easy, everyone would walk it. Every obstacle you face is an opportunity to strengthen your mindset. Each moment of doubt is a chance to prove your resilience. When you keep showing up despite the negativity, you build a kind of confidence that cannot be taken away by words. That confidence comes from knowing that your determination is stronger than the criticism surrounding you. The remarkable thing about persistence is that it eventually changes the conversation. The same voices that once doubted your potential begin to notice your progress. They see the discipline. They see the consistency. They see the results that were built quietly through hard work and belief, and while they may never admit they were wrong, their doubts lose their power because your actions have already proven what they refuse to believe. Life will always include moments of negativity. It will always include voices that question your direction. But those voices only become obstacles if you allow them to control your mindset. When you choose instead to transform doubt into determination, you begin to realize that every challenge carries as the possibility of strength. The people who rise above limitations are not the ones who avoided negativity. They are the ones who used it as energy. They took every criticism, every moment of doubt, every negative word, and turned it into motivation to move forward with greater focus and greater discipline. And as you continue on your journey, you begin to understand something powerful about your own resilience. The negativity that once tried to discourage you has become part of the very force that drives you. It no longer weakens your spirit. Instead, it reminds you every single day why you must keep pushing, keep striving, and keep proving through your actions that doubt will never be stronger than the determination that lives inside you and continues guiding you toward a future built through courage, persistence, and an unbreakable commitment to your purpose. Walking your own path with confidence and courage. There comes a moment in life when you realize that the road meant for you may not look like the road everyone else is taking. People around you may choose comfort, familiarity, and approval from the crowd. But deep inside, you feel a pull towards something different, something greater, something that requires courage. That moment is where the true journey begins. Because walking your own path demands confidence that comes from within and courage that refuses to bow to fear. The world has a way of trying to guide everyone into the same direction. It rewards conformity and often questions individuality. When you begin to think differently, act differently, and chase goals that others cannot fully understand, you will notice resistance. Some people will doubt you. Some will warn you that the path is risky. Others will try to convince you to follow the safer road they chose. But the truth is that greatness has never been discovered by people who simply followed the footsteps of the crowd. Walking your own path begins with trusting your vision. That vision may not make sense to everyone around you, and that is perfectly fine. Not every dream is meant to be understood by the whole world at the beginning. Some dreams are placed inside your heart because you are the one meant to bring them to life. If you spend your time waiting for everyone's approval, you may never take the first step toward the life you were meant to build. Confidence grows when you decide to believe in your purpose, even when the outcome is uncertain. It is easy to feel strong when everything is going well, when people are supportive, and the road is smooth. But real confidence shows itself when the path becomes challenging and the voices of doubt begin to rise. In those moments, you must remind yourself why you started. You must remember the vision that first sparked the fire inside you. Courage does not mean the absence of fear. Fear will always exist whenever you step into the unknown. Courage means you continue moving forward even when fear tries to slow you down. It means you understand that growth happens outside the boundaries of comfort. Every meaningful step toward your purpose will require you to face uncertainty, but that uncertainty is also where opportunity lives. When you walk your own path, you begin to discover strengths you never knew you possessed. Each obstacle teaches you resilience. Each challenge sharpens your determination. Each setback becomes a lesson that prepares you for the next stage of the journey. Over time, you realize that the struggles were not there to stop you, but to shape you into the person capable of achieving the vision you carry. There will be moments when the road feels lonely, when it seems like everyone else has chosen a simpler route while you continue pushing forward through difficulty. Those moments will test your work, commitment. But remember that every path towards something meaningful requires a willingness to stand apart from the crowd. The distance between ordinary and extraordinary is often created by the courage to continue when others decide to turn back. Confidence also grows through action. Every time you take another step forward, no matter how small, you strengthen your belief in yourself. Progress reminds you that your journey is real, and your effort is building something valuable. When you focus on consistent action instead of constant approval, your confidence begins to stand on a foundation that no outside opinion can shake. As time passes, the road that once felt uncertain begins to reveal its purpose. You start seeing the results of your persistence. You see how the risks you once feared became opportunities for growth. And you understand that choosing your own direction was never about proving anything to others. It was about honoring the calling within your own heart. The remarkable thing about courage is that it inspires others. When people witness someone walking their path with determination and belief, it reminds them that they also have the power to pursue their own purpose. Your journey becomes more than a personal victory. It becomes a message that individuality, perseverance, and faith in oneself can create a life that stands far beyond the limitations others once imagined. So you keep moving forward with your head high and your spirit strong. You trust the vision that lives inside you. You face fear without surrendering to it. And step by step, you continue building a life shaped not by the expectations of the crowd, but by the confidence and courage that guide you along the path that was always meant to be yours. A path that grows clearer, stronger, and more powerful every day you refuse to. Turn away from the purpose calling you forward into the future you are meant to create in the end. The journey of rising above negativity and trusting your own path is not about proving the world wrong. It is about proving to yourself that you have the strength to keep going no matter what voices surround you. Life will always have critics. There will always be people who question your decisions, your dreams, and your direction. But their doubts do not define your future. Your actions do. When you learn to ignore the noise, believe in your vision, and stay focused on your goals, you begin to discover a power within yourself that cannot be shaken. A quiet confidence grows inside you. It reminds you that your life is not meant to be controlled by fear or limited by the opinions of others. Every challenge you face becomes another step that strengthens your character. Every moment of doubt becomes an opportunity to stand stronger than before. And every time you choose courage over comfort, you move closer to the life you were meant to live. So keep walking your path with faith in your heart and determination in your spirit. The world may question you today, but if you